Passport bros mostly seem to be black men from the West, but there are some that are white, and I can imagine Asians amongst them too. Practically, they're still Western men anyway and are intentionally looking for women in poorer countries. But not always, as some of these places they discussed are fairly wealthy and more developed, such as South Korea and Japan. I must admit, I have learned some things listening to some of these channels, but it still shocks me how naive some of these men can be. Some are actually quite bright, but others clearly aren't. As an Asian myself, I know how Asian women can be like, and it surprises me how some of these men have praised these women, how little they really know. The man who hosts the International Passport channel really hasn't got a clue. It's not that I'm trying to be mean or spiteful, but his poor English and naivety really strikes out to me, not to mention his lack of any real political or economic understanding. I, personally, don't see myself as part of this group. I do travel and take an interest in women, but I travel mostly for myself, and if I meet a woman, then I'm open to be friendly, and even a relationship if it starts to go down that path. Passport bros themselves have forgotten the golden rule. When it comes to women, you never chase them. It's not that it won't yield results, it can, but there's an art to it that has to be mastered, and if you're weak, and most men are, success at times will often be with the poor quality women anyhow. It's just how it usually works out. Women near enough instinctively can tell when a man is desperate, and deep inside, it disgusts them. The only exception is if she is desperate herself, which is always a low-quality woman that you're better off avoiding anyway. If she can do better, then she will. The fact remains that she will never really respect you, or any man like that either. So, a passport bro goes off to a country perhaps, where his dark complexion makes him stand out, and being from the West, he's seen as wealthier, which can work in his favor. But women are still women, their nature is the same, no matter where you go. There are Asian women married to white men out there, and deep inside, they hate their husbands. They're just being used. The contempt many Asians have for black men is even more shocking. Okay, not all of us are like that, but it's amazing how many really are. It's normal and accepted amongst us even. We just talk in our own language and hide it from others. All of us Asians know about it. Indeed. How do you expect to be really seen by some of these people as an Asian passport bro in their country yourself? It's value, really. Your value to these women can go up a few points in a poorer country, but it's still about value. It's transactional. I highly recommend the Happy Wife School channel and her video on passport bros. The message to these men she has towards the end is absolutely correct. A woman is a woman is a woman. She wants something from you. It's not you. It's what you can do for her, or at least what she believes so. And you'll see her true colors in due time. She may come across as your idea of a traditional wife, and may even remain so in a relationship. There'll be times when she won't, and then you'll see the other side of her. Indeed. You'll most likely just end up like many other men out there in a stressful and unhappy marriage. It's amazing how some people never really see themselves for what they are, and how people truly see them. Just go to Thailand and see those middle-aged white men there. They're usually single or divorced. The man is even old enough to be the girl's father, and yet they can still fawn over these women. It's so obvious that some are looking for a wife, or are just plain sex tourists, and now we have these men calling themselves passports bros. Yet there isn't a great deal of difference to me. I have literally encountered men like this on my travels. My time in Poland was enlightening. An Indian I met was always approaching Polish girl, always trying to befriend them. He had been there for some time as well, and yet that was all he got, and I could tell he was trying hard. Another Asian who loves white women but wasn't getting anywhere. I still think he's an idiot too. An Irish man I met, and later found out was autistic, was just like the Indian, chasing after women all the time but hopeless. I later discovered he was on disability allowance, and staying in hostels in Krakow. At least a year there, befriending and trying his luck with women all the time, and not getting anywhere. He barely had any money, poorly dressed, stupid and lazy, without any career or prospects. Of course he couldn't get the women he wanted. They can do better, and he just didn't understand that. Eventually, he was uncovered as a benefit fraud, and had to return to Ireland. Such a silly, childish man. He just didn't have a clue. Passport bros themselves always talk about their experiences traveling and the women they meet in these countries, but they don't talk much about themselves. They lack introspection. The bottom line is that we all take the best deal we can find, or at least what we perceive is. If you can't do well where you are, then you try elsewhere. But they're not seeing themselves properly, and doing what needs to be done within, or enlightening themselves, their own value, their own goals, purpose, direction and aspirations. It's just the best women they can get for themselves. Blindly chasing girls, really, hopeless romantics, which many men really are, and now they've found a different way to play it. But is it really giving them what they really believe is going to make them happy and fulfilled? Is this really their path to happiness? And, like the men I just spoke about, these men are still sheep in sheep's clothing really, women can tell, and they're going to use you.